Hey guys, it's Gladys. Today I'm working for me. I did something completely out of my comfort zone and my work zone. I was asked to be part of a panel for the Haitian Student Union Association at Howard University. It was a bit intimidating until I sat down and it was pretty fun. Here are a few points from the discussion. Let's engineer something.
Hi, I'm Gladys. My Ph.D. My real name is Gladys Sera. Someone just asked me my patients. I'm a civil engineer. I have an office in DC and Palm Beach, Florida.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys coming out. So we're going to get started with the questions. So feel free to just answer if you...
I'm a product of immigrants, so my choices were doctor, lawyer, engineer. So one of those. So that's what led me here. I'm so sorry. You guys had good stories. And doctor, lawyer, engineer, I think. So if you don't have any more work to do, you don't say anything, then we start thinking that you don't have to do that. You're not useful for us for the workplace. Another thing is teamwork. If you don't know how to work with people, that's something else, because you're going to be working with like coworkers, or even with my industry in particular, working with the government a lot. So you have to be able to communicate with the government, with the clientele, and if not, then again, you can't really, it's really hard for you to continue working in any type of environment. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Yeah.
But differently when you're like more involved in the project, you understand it more and you love it much more. So I think just being more involved, it makes you love what you do more. And that's something that you can translate 100% outside into the workforce. Being able to communicate with people. I remember one time I was in Palm Beach and someone just called me and I heard her accent and she was just trying. And she said, and I was like, and I started saying, oh, I said, he can't get on this one. And she was like, oh, he got one. And she got so comfortable because she was like, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to like try to understand what you're saying or try to communicate with you. I can talk to someone and they understand, and I can get permits and I don't have to pay a bunch of fines and fees. So that being in South Florida and being in Palm Beach, Florida particularly, where things are happening, and being Haitian, being able to like help people, I think that's really helped like influence my professional journey. And like being here, it was cool that being black and being around black people in DC, but being in like Florida as well, and like being able to help other Haitian people, like, cause like growing up, I was helping my parents a lot. My parents didn't speak the language. They didn't know how to read well. And now that I'm able to grow up and I'm doing it for people outside of my household as well, I love it. I guess I found my mentors more so with my supervisors, but then as I started becoming an entrepreneur, it became more crowds in a barrel. So I think more so listening. When you find people within your community, listening to their mistakes. I remember like we were in Haiti, we were driving behind another car and it was a very bumpy dirt road. And I remember saying like, okay, if that car falls in a pothole, we just drive around it because we saw that mistake that car made. So in life, we're just following the mistakes that car in front of us made and just avoid that pothole.
I would say, I think about
going to talk to them, and the advice, the one thing that I say probably once a week is that closed mouths don't get fed. It's so true. Like asking for a raise, because I don't know what's going on in your life. I'm not thinking about you guys constantly. So going to the person and talking to them and explaining the situation, then that person understands you a bit more. So I think that's something that I heard it, but then when I applied it, I'm like, this is perfect.
Hours for myself in the morning, and for me, that's exercising, that's walking, and just breathing the fresh air, drinking my coffee, listening to my music, calling my son. But for me, that's that. And then once I get into the office, then I'm not interrupted. But I think I agree with Baran in the sense that it's kind of an illusion, but it's.
You're gonna be present.
But you get there. I'm not gonna be president. But you'll get there eventually. But you have to put the work in. You have to be excellent at everything that you do, and just walk in there being prepared all the time. You're never gonna know all the answers, but no one does.
I'll just add one more thing, I guess, for me, because I've been lying in it. There's a lot of times in my life that I haven't had balance, but there's a lot of times where
I'm not as talkative, but I think I had to come out my shell. I'm naturally an introvert, but I had to push myself to be a little bit more of an extrovert, especially being in as an engineer, I'm an introvert, but being an employer, I have to push myself out there more to be more outgoing. And I think that also helps with building relationships as well, going to networking events, like you were saying earlier, and pushing yourself out there so you can put yourself in positions to be around people that can really help push you forward.
And it makes me think about the phrase that's very popular that Maya Angelou says, people won't remember what you did, but they'll remember how to make them feel. So it's when you're genuine, when you are connected, when you're present with somebody, those are the things that I think people will remember, even if they only get a couple minutes of it when you pass the desk, or they're getting hours and hours of your time. So and being genuine, and everything is everything comes down to money and relationships, especially in career and adulthood. So just being conflict avoidant, like not an avoidant person, you definitely want to be able to, but you don't want to be somebody who's unpleasant to be around. Aside from being just a robot.
And tying into some things that we've already talked about, listen to your colleagues, listen to your mentors, think, problem solve for them. Like if they're talking to you about an experience that they're having that is challenging, offer some advice or offer to connect them to someone who can help them solve that problem. Later on, they'll do the same, for you. That helps build that relationship. Something that people give also as a piece of advice when you're building mentorship relationships, especially, is to tell the person that you want them to be your mentor. Not just think that or assume that they understand that. Tell them I really want to build a mentorship relationship with you, and so that helps so that you're both much more intentional about the time that you spend together, and also there's this really investment of that leads to like scheduling time to meet every so often, even if it's like twice a year or times a year. When that person hears about a certain opportunity, they'll think about you because they'll be like proud to say, okay, I have a mentee and this could be of interest to them.
And sometimes the mentors, the mentees become your mentor. Like I've had mentees, I've learned from them, right? And so that it's important, that relationship. But also just to add, there's the formal mentorship, but there's also the informal mentorship. There are people that were my mentors didn't know until I went up to them and was like, you've been my mentor. And they're like, I am. And I'm like, yes, because here's why. So sometimes you just learn from other people. So yeah, there's the official and unofficial for me.
Thank you. Thank you all for answering these questions. And as we're wrapping up, I kind of want to add a little fun twist. So we're going to do the quick fire Haitian culture questions. So I want everybody to go down the line and just answer these things. So first, we'll start over here. What's your favorite Haitian food?
Legume. And kawi.
And coffee.
Mine's that.
Rio. Yeah, Rio avec Dia Quad.
Next, soup jumu or bouillon?
Sujumu.
No bouillon?
Watching this conversation, I got a few things to work on. We have so much engineering for you. So like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye.